Today I will read the story of the Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. There once were two mice, a rich town mouse and a poor country mouse. The mice were cousins, but they hadn't seen each other in some time. So one day Country Mouse invited his cousin to visit his home in the countryside. Town Mouse arrived on Country Mouse's doorstep in his finest clothes and shiny new shoes. "You look very smart," Country Mouse said, and when he met his cousin at the front door. "Thank you," said Town Mouse. "I like to look my best for every occasion." "I hope you brought other clothes too," said Country Mouse. The country is often colder and wetter than the town." Town Mouse hadn't brought any other clothes, and he soon began to wish he had. "I don't wish to be rude," he shivered one morning on a stroll through the woods, "but don't you find it rather cold and dirty here?" "I'm used to it," said Country Mouse, who was sensibly dressed in a wooden jumper and 6 socks. "The air is fresh and pretty flowers grow in the dirt. In the town I have clean pavements to walk on," replied Town Mouse, dodging muddy puddles in his shiny shoes. "If you have boots like mine, you don't need clean pavements," said Country Mouse, who was wearing bright green rubber boots. At dinner, when Town Mouse looked at his tiny plate of cheese, rind, and berries, he wrinkled his nose in dismay. "Forgive me, cousin," he said, "but do you always eat such simple food? I am used to eating twice as much for dinner. I don't need anything fancier," said Country Mouse. "If it's tasty, it's good enough for me. This is just enough to fill me up. You must come and stay with me, and I will show you how much nicer it is to live in the town," replied Town Mouse. "That is most kind of you," answered Country Mouse politely. "I shall polish my rubber boots." At last, Town Mouse's stay in the country came to an end. He had enjoyed it very much, thought he was much too polite to say so. When Country Mouse came to visit him, he couldn't wait to show him how much better the town was. Arriving at the Town Mouse's impressive house, Country Mouse looked up in amazement. The house was very tall and had other tall houses on both sides of it. "Welcome to my home," Town Mouse said rather grandly. Inside the house, the floor was covered with thick carpets, so Country Mouse had to leave his rubber boots by the front door. It was so warm that he had to take off his scarf and thick socks. "This is a splendid house, cousin," he said, looking at all the fine things. Town Mouse served tea in the dining room. There was enough food to feed 1,000 mice, sandwiches and cakes, fruits and nuts, seeds and chocolates, but no bread and cheese. "What a magnificent feast, cousin," said Country Mouse, trying his napkin around his neck and preparing to tuck in. "I have never seen so much food. Please try everything," said Town Mouse, "and have second helpings if you wish. I think I could get you to living in the town," he said, patting his woolly jumper, which was feeling tight over his full stomach. Just at that moment, a giant cat strolled casually into the room. "Have you started without me?" asked the cat. The two mice almost jumped out of their skin with fright. They dived straight into the bowl of nuts and scattered them all over the table. "Aren't you going to invite me to join you?" the cat asked, jumping onto a chair. "I will sit at the head of the table." This didn't appeal to the mice one bit. Quick as a dash, they climbed out of the bowl of the nuts, ran down the leg of the table, and escaped in a flurry under the table. It was time for Country Mouse to leave. "You have everything a mouse could ever wish for," he said to Town Mouse as they said goodbye. "But I miss my life in the country far too much." "I understand, dear cousin," said Town Mouse. They shook paws and waved goodbye to each other. Back in his own house, Country Mouse settled down to the life he knew and missed. On chilly evenings, he sat by the fire and listened to the owls hooting outside. On warm summer days, he played among the flowers in the garden and breathed in the sweet, fresh air. "This is the life for me," he said to himself. Remembered the giant cat in the dining room, full of food, and thought, "I prefer a simple life I can enjoy in peace." The aim of the story is better a little in safety than an abundance surrounded by danger. The end.